I saved 50% of my paycheck by using the 3-pillar budgeting method. And even though the cost of living in my city is around $3,000 to $4,000 a month, I'm living and thriving on just $2,000. Wait, how could someone, by controlling just 3 expenses, make such a big difference? Well, let's find out. Also, it is really assuring to know that people in their 30s have retired already using this method. More on them later. But for now, let's talk about the first pillar, which is housing. And for me, what I do to keep my housing expenses low is sharing the same apartment with my parents. This keeps my housing expenses at around $800 a month. Also, my family house hacks by hosting international students in one of the 3 bedrooms. Other techniques could include renting out the extra bedroom or getting a roommate. As for single house owners, I have heard that people would put a trailer in the backyard, live in that, and then rent out the rest of the unit. Another technique is to move to a lower cost of living city in your country, aka local geo-arbitrage. Brad Barrett, the host of the podcast Choose FI, quoted that by moving from Long Island, New York, and to Richmond, Virginia, is one of his biggest contributors to being able to retire at just 35. And this is really cool. You can also use the same technique on a global scale, so moving from a higher cost of living country to a lower cost of living country, aka international geo-arbitrage. Places that early retirees, or other times called expats, love are Guanajuato and Guadalajara from Mexico, Chiang Mai from Thailand, and Vietnam. And this is where you can live on $20,000 to $30,000 a year and get the same lifestyle as someone who's living on $50,000 to $60,000 a year in the US. Like this video if you ever traveled to a place where you're just so surprised at how freaking cheap everything is. Literally, that is me going to Fukuoka, where a highball is $2 and a bowl of ramen is $7. What the hell?
これが
はい、私は大変健康です。
いや、ダメだろ。
And the second pillar is food. You might be like, wait. How could a $3 bag of pasta and a $6 bag of pasta make that big of a difference? Well, that's because it's all about the concept of how small expenses can snowball into really big expenses if not kept in check. Always price compare and shop at discount grocery stores whenever possible. And if you live in Canada, Freshco and No Frills are my best friends. Also, go and check out your local Asian markets if you have them. And you know it's authentic when there are more cardboard boxes than walking space. And you know what? For us, at our local Asian markets, we were able to find the freshest and cheapest meats and vegetables. Only buy what you need and try your best not to step into the grocery store on an empty stomach because you might be throwing out half of those impulse buys. Irrational spendings, begone. And this tip is from Purple, a retiree who was able to escape the rat race at 30 years old. Her tip is to try your best to walk to the grocery store and only buy groceries that you can carry on your body. It's super effective because she thinks to herself, do I really want to haul this big ass bag up that big ass hill? Buy expensive things on sale in bulk. This is really good for high price items like meats. And since they usually take up a lot of space, some people get an extra freezer on Facebook Marketplace to store their bulk buy items. Meal planning and batch cooking. So making a plan of what you want to make in that week before the week starts can also decrease the likelihood of buying unnecessary groceries. So another tip is to batch cook 2 to 3 big portions of meals and then put them into 3 to 5 days worth and then freeze it over the weekend. So what our family likes to do is sometimes we would like to cook bigger batches of pasta or curry or kimchi fried rice. Oh my god, that sounds so delicious. And also, it's so easy because you just like whip up some eggs and then some rice because the kimchi does most of the work with the savory stuff. Decreasing dining out and increasing dining in. And this is the method that Purple used to keep her spending budget for eating out at around $60 a month. And also, she really liked the fact that she can keep connections with her family and friends at a fraction of the cost. And another method that I personally like to use is instead of dining out for dinner, I like to dine out for lunch. Subscribe if you do the same because hear me out. Here's the thing. It's because if the purpose of dining out is just connecting and yapping with your friends, the same connecting and yapping could be done over a $15 lunch versus a $40 dinner. Also, don't worry if you can't remember everything. Feel free to grab a summary list of all the items in the 3-pillar budgeting method down below. And the third and final pillar is transportation. And the nirvana stage to reach, according to Mr. Money Mustache, someone who is also able to retire at the age of 30, is to not own a car. Instead, he heavily advocates for biking or simply walking. And as for me personally, I don't own a car, and for every month, I put around $40 into my public transport card, and for everywhere else, I walk. And lastly, on the occasion, I use the public sharing app for cars like Moto and Evo, and those are mostly for trips outside of the city. And now you might be like,
Wait, Ash, how could you live without a car?
and to that, I answer, that's because I live in a very accessible city. And to that, you might ask,
Wait, Ash, aren't super accessible cities super expensive to live in?
and to that, I answer, that's why we have the first two pillars in this budgeting method to keep the housing and food expenses low. But what about you guys? What other saving methods has helped you guys reduce your expenses the most? Drop it down below, because I'm always looking for new ways to save and invest more. On a similar note, saving on transportation, housing, and food are only 3 out of the 8 secrets that Mr. Money Mustache used to retire at 30 years old. Well, click on this video to check out the rest of the secrets. Don't forget to grab the summary list of the 3-pillar budgeting method down below, and I'll see you in this video. Okay, and that's it.